What's up, Nopsters? Welcome back to Digital Noise. We have a very special episode today. I've been talking about this for a while in my previous videos, comparing the Sony A7RIII versus the Canon 5D Mark IV. And I'm going to be basically showing you the differences between dynamic range, the continuous autofocus, and the overall usage of both cameras and seeing how they compete against one another. So if you're just now tuning in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and definitely hit that like button. I'm trying to get a lot of likes. Amanda here, she's actually one of my great models. You've probably seen her in previous episodes from all my other videos that I've done on my YouTube channel. Definitely check that out. I've always been convinced that Amanda's like one of my top models, and I've always told her that, but she's like, oh no, I'm okay, but I am determined to prove her wrong. I want everyone to hit that like button if you think Amanda is a great model, especially at the end of the video. If I can get 500 likes, then I can prove her wrong that she's a beautiful, gorgeous model that is worthy of modeling in my video. So definitely smash that like button, and that way we can both prove that her wrong. All right, so let's get started and start comparing this camera. All right, for the first test, we're going to be starting out with the A7RIII, and we're going to test out the autofocus capabilities of the Sony, while Amanda is just standing still, not really moving too much. So I'll show you on the back of the screen what it looks like while we're focusing on Amanda, and just have her move around just a little bit and see how that works. Okay, perfect. So I just want you to look right at the camera.
Okay.
And then, perfect, turn your head just a little bit. Perfect. Turn sideways for me, just a little bit. Turn the other way. Perfect. I want you to stand over on the left side.
Okay.
And I'm going to follow you, and I want you to walk, but look at the camera, but walk over to the other side, okay?
Okay.
All right, ready, and go ahead. Perfect. All right, so as you can see, the autofocus is pretty spot on with the Sony A7RIII. It's putting a square on her face as she's moving around, so it's recognizing the head of the subject. I wasn't expecting anything less because Sony's, technology for that is just outstanding at the moment. But now we're gonna try doing the autofocus with the Canon and see if it can actually perform the same. But I'm gonna use the 24-70 lens that I have on that camera and see what it can do. Okay, perfect. All right, Amanda, look to the right. We'll zoom in. See if we can get this. Look, sort of shift your body to the right. All right, look at the camera. Perfect. Now I want you to go to the left again, like to the left wall, and then I'm gonna have you look at the camera.
Okay.
All right. Now I want you to go ahead and just walk to the right or left. You know which one. Perfect. Now come back to the middle. Perfect. It looks like an ad.
It does look like an ad?
Yeah, like an ad for like shoes or something. That's really cool. All right, so as you can see, the AI server with the Mark IV, I'm relatively surprised it actually did a really good job. It was able to focus on Amanda no matter where she was moving. So I think the Sony, because I have that live view function on the back, with Canon you don't have that ability. But I'm able to see, and you were able to see as well, the full screen when I was focusing on her. And it was doing a pretty good job. Let's do a test with Amanda walking towards the camera and see if we can keep focus. Let's go ahead and do that real quick.
Yep.
So let's have you come up here. Okay. And go. Perfect. Yeah, that's actually really, really good. So with Amanda walking towards the camera, the autofocus with their AI server with the Canon was able to pick it up with every step that she was taking. So let's see what it looks like on the Sony. Okay, ready? And go ahead. Beautiful. Yeah, the Sony is keeping up with the subject walking up and down through the frame, and it's keeping its focus. I think it's a little bit snappier, so they both have great autofocus capabilities, but I mean, the Sony's just is a tad bit sharper and a tad bit quicker. So let's go ahead and do eye autofocus compared to the Canon, which the Canon doesn't even have that ability, so let's just show you what it looks like. Okay, perfect. All right, ready? And I just want you to look right at the camera. Look right. Yep. Look left. Look right at me. Perfect. Turn around just slowly. Like turn all the way around. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, so as you saw, the eye autofocus is really great. It was picking up the eye of Amanda in every shot, and it wasn't losing track of focus, and it was making sure that it was crystal sharp. When we were reviewing the photos, I barely had to do anything but just hold this button down. And I mean, I could have just shot blind like this and it would have kept your eye in focus. So that's one of the great benefits of this camera, is the eye autofocus. All right, so we're actually gonna start testing the high-speed burst shooting of the Canon versus the Sony A7R III with just regular autofocus first. So the Canon shoots at 7 frames a second and the Sony shoots at 10 frames a second. We're going to see how many shots between those 7 a second with the Canon can stay in focus between the 10 shots that the Sony has that can stay in focus, and see the percentages compared between each other, which one is actually better for that type of situation. Especially for myself, since I do like shooting modeling, I like to have my subjects move up and down, back and forth, left and right, and every shot that is out of focus is a shot missed that the camera couldn't take, because that could have been a potentially good shot. So let's go ahead and see what the Canon can do. I have it now on AI servo with high-speed shooting. I'm gonna have Amanda just spin around and see how many times it can keep her eye in focus while she's moving at high-speed shooting. Okay, perfect, yep. Turn, yep. I want you to like do a spin to the other side of the wall.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Gorgeous. Oh, I love it. So, the Canon is doing a pretty good job. So now let's go ahead and try this test out with the Sony and see if it can compete. I'm sorry. Is it okay if I touch you?
Yes.
Rules of photographing models: always ask permission before touching your model. There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now I have the Sony paired with the 24-70. I'm going to have Amanda do the exact same movements as before and see with the high-speed burst, 10 frames a second, if it can actually capture her and not miss any of the shots that I'm taking. So let's go ahead and test that out. 2, 1. Perfect. Wow.
So fast.
Yes,
boom, boom, boom.
exactly. She can hear it. Boom, 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 boom. That's how fast 10 frames a second is. It's now buffering to the camera. So all those pictures that I took,
yeah,
it took it so fast the camera's like, well, I have to load them all onto the memory card before you can actually see them. As soon as it's done, I'm going to show her. But that was probably close to around 100 shots in like literally a couple seconds.
Yeah.
So that means because of that, I'm not gonna, like, I could see it was almost like a movie where it was like an old time movie where you're moving around.
Really?
And it, like, I see black in between each frame, like do. But I'm not gonna miss a moment. Like, she could blink. Maybe I could even capture her her blinking for that split second. But every moment before that blink will be captured. So she might have that nice look in her eyes where she's like thinking before she closed it. And I'm going to have that moment. It's going to be in focus. That's something that's great with the A7R Mark III is that with that 10 frames a second and that awesome autofocus ability, you just can't go wrong. Half the job is done for me. All I have to worry about is my composition. I just make sure that you're standing good. The camera's gonna do the rest for me.
Oh wow.
Like you can see, well...
It is, it's like a movie.
Yeah, it's like a movie, yeah. Look at that. All those moments.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all those moments are being captured. So I could take one of those shots. It's almost like taking a still frame from a video, but the video is like 5K resolution. Like it's super huge. So that's one great ability that the Sony A7R III has. So way to go, Sony. Let's go ahead and do 2 thumbs up. Make sure these thumbs belong to that like button too as well for her. Next part of the video, we are going to be testing out the crop capability of both cameras. Basically, since the Canon is 30 megapixels and the Sony is 42 megapixels, I'm going to shoot wide and then we're going to crop in and see which shot looks good even after cropping in that close to Amanda's face. What many people don't realize is that with large resolution cameras, that gives you more freedom to shoot wide just in case you think the shot may look better wide. And if you shoot zoomed in, you may have thought it looked better zoomed out, but you can't go back from that. So shooting wide is a lot better. That way it gives you more leeway to crop when you're in post, and with large megapixels, you don't have to worry about losing any of that resolution or any of that quality when you crop in. So let's go ahead and start with the Canon first. I have the Sony right now, but we'll start off the Canon and then we'll compare it with the Sony A7R Mark III. So right now I have the 50mm 1.2L on the Canon 5D Mark IV. I'm going to be shooting wide, so I'm not going to be, relatively too close to her face, so that way I have enough options to crop in just in case I want the shot to, have a different composition. So let's go ahead and test that out real quick. Beautiful. Perfect. When it's shot wide, right?
Yep.
But let's say I want to crop in, I could still use that, and then it still looks
so
good.
nice.
So with 30 megapixels, that's not bad. Let's try that with the Sony with the 50 and see if we can zoom in even more and still get even better quality. Zoom in more and get better quality than the Canon can produce, since it's about 12 megapixels short of the A7R Mark III. I've got the 50mm on the A7R Mark III, and then we're going to test out shooting wide and what the crop capability is of this Sony A7R Mark III. I'm going to use that eye autofocus because this thing is banging. Okay, perfect, yep. Zoom in just a little bit. Beautiful. Oh my god, I'm in love with this camera, and I'm in love with you, Amanda, I'm just saying. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Rule number 2, don't ever flirt with your models. Do you want to go to dinner after this? I'm just kidding. Okay. That means no. Alright. So I got an awesome shot. One thing I'm going to mention that you'll see in the photos, but we're going to do a comparison to that, is you can probably tell the color science between the two.
Yeah.
The Canon... Okay, so one thing that Canon has almost over all cameras is it looks good, the color, right out of the camera. Which is great, because if you have your subject here, and you want to show her the picture, and you want her to get an idea of what the photo looks like before editing, it looks really good in the Canon already, because the color is just amazing, her skin tone. As you can see here, it's a little flat, but I mean, that's something that we can fix in post, but it's less work that I have to do, right? Because if it's already like that in camera,
it's ready to go.
It's ready to go. I don't have to tweak but that much with that. So it's a sacrifice you have to make if you are getting the A7R Mark III, but it's not that big of a sacrifice because you can always fix it in post. It just depends on how much time you have to edit. All right, so for our next test, we are going to be testing out the dynamic range between the Canon 5D Mark IV and the Sony A7R Mark III. It says that the Sony actually has 15 stops of dynamic range. I think the Canon does too, or maybe a little bit lower, but we're going to test that out. So I'm going to shoot Amanda underexposed and overexposed, and we're going to try to pull that back in Lightroom, as well as the Sony A7R Mark III. Going to underexpose, overexpose, and see if we can pull any of that information back while we're trying to edit the photo in Lightroom. Perfect. Beautiful. So those are underexposed. Now we're gonna do overexposed with the Canon and then try to pull that down. So the same thing. This time I'm gonna overexpose the shot. Beautiful, Amanda. This is why you're the best. Because I don't have to do anything, and when I make you smile, it's even better. This one, there, and this one is really dark. So we're gonna test that out. So let's go ahead and try the Sony. Beautiful. The wind is great. Yeah, fix your hair. Mess with your hair just a little bit. Now let's go ahead and try overexposing. Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Ooh.
That is so good. Even though it's overexposed.
Makes me look so good.
So let's go ahead and do our final test, which is the glass shoot. We'll see you there in a minute. Shoot through glass video, take one, clap for sync. I need you to do it.
I can't hear you.
Oh, just 1, 2, 3, clap.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Yeah. Clap for sync. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. In this test, we are actually going to be testing out the abilities that the Sony A7RIII has versus the 5D Mark IV when it comes to shooting through glass. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have Amanda here, and she's going to be just drinking her coffee, and I'm going to just try to focus in on her while I'm taking the shot. Hopefully, both cameras don't have any hard time. I usually have to manually focus when I'm trying to shoot. So if it can autofocus between the two, that'd be really, really great. So we're gonna go ahead and try out the Sony A7RIII and the Canon and see how they both compare when trying to shoot through glass. All right, ready? So the Sony actually is doing pretty well. I'm not having to manually focus. It's probably because there's not a lot of reflections from the angle that I'm shooting. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit and see if I can get some of the reflections through while I'm taking the shots. Look right at me. Look that way. Beautiful. So with the Sony, it's doing really, really well. It's not having to miss focus or anything. I'm not having to refocus or actually put in manual mode. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to switch this off with the Canon and see what it can do with autofocus. So now I have the 50mm on the Canon. I'm gonna start shooting and see how the camera is doing while it's trying to focus through the glass on Amanda. Look that way again. Beautiful. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Look that way. All right, so what I can see is that the Canon is struggling just a little bit. It's rack focusing back and forth, something that the Sony was not doing. So half of my shots I'm having to wait while it's trying to capture focus again. While with the Sony, it was just capturing it over and over and over, and it was really enjoyable because I wasn't having to wait for it to focus or thinking that it could miss focus. I'm gonna swap it one more time on the Sony just so I can get some more shots and see what it looks like. So I'm gonna test out the high-speed continuous burst through the glass and see if it can keep up and make sure it doesn't miss focus. 1, 2, 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. Look at me. Hold in. Turn the other way. Beautiful. Okay, so with the high-speed sync, it was, I love this camera. I really love this camera. This is probably the best camera I've ever owned. Compared to the Canon, it's the Canon, but more. It's really, really good. Yeah, so I would have to give the verdict to the Sony. It's actually done more than I could ever ask for in the video. But yeah, I really enjoy the Sony A7RIII Mark III. It's really, really good. So far, the best camera that I've ever used. And if you want to see more stuff, make sure to like and subscribe, guys. Definitely, like I said in the beginning of this video, I need 500 likes so I can prove that Amanda is the best model that I've ever used. Definitely smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, let everyone know, and I plan on doing some more modeling shoots in the future. I'll check you guys out later. Bye.
Well, if I keep moving, like, I don't feel as cold, so I'm like...